Right, Josh Aveste. There's good news today, and I think that it is only right that we put our hands together, close our eyes, and we say a prayer. Dear Lord, repeat after me. Dear Lord.
Dear Lord.
Dear Lord. Thank you for health.
Thank you for health.
Thank you for wealth.
Thank you for lots of wealth.
Thank you for the weather.
Thank you for the weather.
And thank you for Trevor.
And thank you so much for the best centre-back / right-back that we have produced from the Chelsea Academy since Levi Cole. Amen.
Amen. Trevor Chalobah's back. What a start to the day.
Your favourite player that has ever graced...
My what?
Your favourite...
My favourite player
Yeah.
that has ever graced Stamford Bridge.
Before we
is
get
back.
into this, can I just ask the audience for one small favour?
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea, as you well know at the moment, it's a bit tough, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, watching Chelsea is a bit hard. But one thing that always gets me through the tough times is obviously you. But it's also, obviously, all of these guys. And we need these guys to do one big favour for us this time round.
Take all your clothes off
We
right
need
now.
you, if you want Chelsea to make some transfers, we need you to give this video a massive like and also take a screenshot, put it on Instagram, show the world that you're watching Joey and Josh. Because quite frankly, go to you now. This man needs some love right now. Okay? He needs some cheering up. He's finding Chelsea a little bit hard to watch at the moment. And he needs your support. Just like Trevor needs your support, mate. So Trevor's back. You should be very happy.
There we go.
You should be happy.
What an intro.
You should be happy.
I am happy that Trevor's back. Just a bit down in the dance about everything else.
Is he gonna play?
Well, you will see in my team sheet.
Oh, no, you won't.
For
you
the
won't.
Wolves preview. I've changed it since we spoke.
Well, of course
I've changed it since we spoke.
Yeah.
You'll see whether Trevor's going to play or not in my... Well, it's not predicted, is it? It's just the team sheet that I want to see. My preferred team sheet. Obviously, this episode's dropping today. The Wolves preview will drop tomorrow, which is what? Friday. Do you find it hard to keep track of days of the week?
When you work as little as you do you know what I mean? It gets really difficult to track the days. When you sit in bed for, 3 of those 7 days, it's really difficult to keep track of them, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I find it easier to keep track of Tommy Tanks I've had rather than days of the week, to be honest.
But you've got a catchphrase, haven't you? You've got Monday 1 tank, Tuesday 2 tanks, Wednesday, who cares about Wednesday, and then Thursday 4 tanks.
There you go.
Is that what it is?
No, I would say I've had bought 4 by Thursday.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Those
depends if I'm in camp or not.
In the words of Matthew McConaughey, those are rookie numbers, man. You got to up those numbers, dude. You got to fucking up those numbers, dude. All right. And then you got to go. Do you know that wasn't scripted?
Was it not?
He uses those exercises to do his vocal warm-ups, like we do before the podcast. And they just left that in. Scorsese left that in the film.
Do you want me to blow your mind?
They were doing a lot of blow in that film.
They were doing a lot of blow.
They were doing a lot of blow.
whole load of blow.
Yeah.
If you want me to blow your mind a little bit here,
yeah, please.
That scene was between Matthew McConaughey and
Leonardo DiCaprio.
2 great actors.
Fantastic actors.
But did you know? What am I going to say?
I think that Leo took a role that Matthew McConaughey was booked for. Is it that way around?
Matthew McConaughey turned down the role
of Titanic,
of Jack in Titanic.
Yeah, I heard that. Imagine
How
what
different
Leo's
would life
career.
have been?
Imagine what Leo's career would have been like if he hadn't have taken that role. Would he have been as successful as he was?
Yes.
If he hadn't taken that role?
Yes.
But that was his breakout role.
It wasn't.
What was his breakout role?
What's eating Gilbert? What's eating Gilbert?
No one's
Grape
seen that.
with Johnny Depp, where Leonardo DiCaprio plays a back. What would you call it?
You can't say back. You
special needs.
You could say someone with special needs.
He plays a character with special needs,
yes.
and he had also done the Basketball Diaries, and he had also done The Beach.
You've named... The Beach was pre-Titanic, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you willing to put money on that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think Titanic was 95, so was The Beach pre-95?
Titanic was 97.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Either way, speaking of 97, and we spent a cool 97 mil on Romelu Lukaku in one transfer window gone by, and we're hoping that we don't do anything as foolish in this transfer window. Now...
There are strikers on the market, Joey.
Are there? I think we need to speak about some of them if there are, but firstly, I actually do seriously want to speak about Trevor Chalobah. Do you think that the board have been listening to the podcast? Because we've been speaking about recalling him for so long now. He never should have left, and there's a lot of people, and we're going to answer a few of your questions, by the way, that have come in towards the end of the episode, but there's a lot of people that are saying you need to speak about how outrageously we've treated him and blah blah blah, and I get it. Yeah, how many times have I done that?
We've said it over and over again. We I think even went as far to say that the Sassy signing was one of the worst signings that we've ever made at Chelsea.
Exactly.
Because of the Trevor connection.
Because of the Trevor Chalobah sale and whatnot, and the fact that he was getting given minutes over him. I have literally had clips that, if you accumulate them, have done millions of views with me talking about the mistreatment of Trevor Chalobah. But here's the only way that I can liken it. You know how I like to liken stuff to life scenarios, right?
Mainly, to be honest with you, mainly boxing.
Mainly
We're talking
boxing.
about the analogies. It's
mainly boxing.
Let's be honest.
Well, I'm not going to go boxing. I'm going to go dating here, right?
Okay.
Let's say, for example, yeah, you get on really well with my bird, who I may or may not have. Yeah?
Okay.
You get on really well with her, right?
Don't know where this is going. Is this going keys in a bowl?
You find out... No. You find out I've cheated on her.
Okay.
She finds out. You are heartbroken for her.
Yeah.
But you're not going to start telling her to leave me, are you?
No. I mean...
Because why?
I don't know.
Bro code, mate.
Okay.
Your loyalty lies with me. As much as you like her...
Okay.
If she finds out I've cheated on her, which again I may or may not have done, I'm joking, I haven't done.
Yeah. If she's watched the podcast now.
She don't watch. Either way, right? If you found that out, you would sympathise with her. Yeah. You would tell her that is awful. But if she said to you, Josh, should I leave him? What would you say?
I would say forgive him.
Forgive him?
Yeah.
And that's the Trevor Chalobah situation.
Do you know what I would have? I would have actually lied like your friend would have done for you.
Yeah.
I would have literally said, no, I don't think he cheated.
No.
She said, I've got proof. I said, I don't think that's real.
He tripped onto those breasts.
Okay, so you're basically saying that the boards are like those lads. We'll forgive them.
No, I'm not. I'm basically saying I back the club over the player, and as much as he's been mistreated, I'm just happy to have him back.
Do you know what?
And let's just give it a fucking spoiler. He's starting against Wolves, all right? He's in my starting lineup.
Yeah.
I am chucking Trev straight back in. And not only are you going to see our defence level up, my God. Now, if you didn't already think that Levi Colwell was carrying this defence, yeah, watch the level up. Watch the level
Joey,
up.
I'm thinking of a goal.
I'm better with this man sat opposite me.
True. That's
yeah?
not true.
I'm better with this man sat with me. Levi Colwell will be so much better with Trevor Chalobah sat opposite him.
Joey, I'm thinking of a goal right now. I'm not going to give you any other context, but I'm thinking of a goal. Right?
Yeah.
Name me the goal.
Trevor Chalobah against Crystal Palace on his debut.
Yeah, exactly that. Can you describe the celebration for me?
Yeah, it was... That one,
Yeah, but he did about 8 celebrations before that.
Listen, you never know. You never know when your next one might
Which
come.
one would yours be? What celebration would you do?
If
you were on your debut for Chelsea, you score at the Matthew Harding end, you're wheeling away towards the corner flag. What is your go-to move?
So, right, because I obviously played at a shit level. Let's be honest. PBFL, Tolworth, shout out anyone watching who remembers that.
Yeah.
I was a one
there's
in.
some footage.
I was like a 1-in-1 man. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of not one goal per game, either one of a goal per game or a red card per game.
Yeah.
But
mainly the red
But
cards.
I just stuck with the same celebration because the pitch is raw as waterlogged, so you couldn't do the knee slide. I'd love to do the knee slide, but you couldn't do them. You couldn't do them. So my one was almost just the arms out and running in. Or sometimes if I scored a real good one, it'd be the old. What was yours?
Do you know what, right? Mine was the knee side. Obviously, I played a better pitches than you. Obviously, higher standards. What can I say? But the one that was a hidden pleasure of mine was to do the old shoe shine. You have to bring a friend involved. A friend has to get involved. They have to get down on one knee.
Yeah.
Very, very rare that ever happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the old shoe shine. Who was the player that did that back in the day?
Who did the shoe shine? Was it an Arsenal player?
Was it Ronaldinho?
Oh, I can't remember now.
Let us know in the comments who did the shoe shine, because that is a classic. That is a 90s man, Barclays man.
But to be honest, classic-wise, just Shearer.
Just Shearer.
Shearer. Will Trevor Chalobah be sold at the end of the season?
Yes. Unfortunately, yeah. I think he will still.
Why?
I think he plays well enough to get a good move, but they still move him on. I think they put their cards on the table already. We've talked about this treatment, and I think let's just go back for this for a second. This guy has been perennially mistreated, hasn't he? He's had to get into the team under Thomas Tuchel. He's had to battle his way into that team. Proved himself, didn't he? Mm-hmm. He's had to constantly have people doubting his ability, saying that he wasn't good enough, always having to train with subs, with the reserves. He's had to go through so many phases, and every time he's proven people wrong. I think this guy... Do you remember they talked about... recently, there have been briefings about Tosin's mentality. Tosin's the uncle of the group. His elder statesman behaviour has enabled him to be a captain of the team. I don't personally, and I don't want to make this about Tosin, but quite frankly, I never see that on the pitch. No. Ever. So if you're talking about leaders and people that could take the captain's armband, Trevor is now your leading candidate to take over on that role. A guy that's been through it all in the club, that deserves a huge amount of credit for the calmness that he's had. He's had his number that's dedicated to his late mother passing away, been stripped away from him. Have you heard about this?
Really?
Yeah, so he plays under 14 because of his mum. João Felix took that number. It was stripped away from him, and now Trevor's going to be coming back, and obviously he won't be able to play with that number on his back.
I'd strip João Felix a number.
I would absolutely.
And I like João Felix.
And I would say to João Felix, take number 9.
Yeah.
You can have a good
do you know
number.
what I would say?
Go on.
Do you know what I would do? If I was João Felix, I would give up the number.
I would too. I don't know if the rules permit you to do that mid-season. Is the only issue.
Really?
But yeah, look, I think Trevor is going to come in, and I think he is going to revolutionise the way that we play. The thing is as well that we're not talking about, that we're not even considering here, is if Reece James does for whatever reason get injured and Malo Gusto isn't on form or on the left-hand side, Trev can play on the right. And actually, Trev plays very well in that back three. Can you see everything that's whirring in my mind?
Things are about to get good, mate.
Things are about to get good.
Things are about to get
good.
My horoscope said that in May, things are about to get really good for me.
Really?
But then that's the end of the season. So does
we're
going
to win it.
Yeah,
we're going to win it then, aren't we?
There you go.
We're going to win it. Yeah, I do think. Now, I'm going to be a little bit remiss if I don't say this, because I did tweet this out. I actually threadsed it, mate. I don't know if you're a big fan of Threads.
What's Threads?
Threads is the Instagram equivalent of Twitter.
I thought Fred was just that idiot that speaks on Misfits at the microphone.
You shouldn't talk about your mates like that, should you? You've been giving him a lot of banter recently. I'm
always giving him a lot of banter.
He can take it. No, I did a thread. THRED, not FR.
Right.
ED. EAD, I should say.
It's like an Instagram tweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where I said that this could be a ploy in which, by the end of the season, or perhaps even in January, we have pushed Crystal Palace to sell us Mark Guehi by doing this. We've called their bluff and said, yeah, we'll take Trev back. If you're not going to sell us Mark Guehi for a reasonable fee, we'll take Trev back, and then you won't have a defender anyway. And then they've got no money to replace them with. Yeah. And so they're a defender down. Whereas if they'd sold us Mark Guehi, they could have potentially kept Trev and also bought another defender with their money. So...
Can I ask you a question?
I'm just saying that's my conspiracy theory.
I don't really think it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's quite logical, to be fair.
Okay,
but can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you bothered? Are you bothered? Are you bothered? Are you bothered that in our, let's say, hypothetical world, in our next match against Wolves, right?
Yeah.
Are you bothered if we start with Trevor Chalobah as opposed to if we start with Mark Guehi?
I'm bothered only from the sense of I do not want to mess this guy around any more than he already has been. So if they're doing this as a sort of transfer ploy, I think that's very, very harsh on him. Do you not agree?
I do agree, but I don't necessarily know if it's true.
Fair enough.
I don't necessarily know if it's true. And here's what I do know, right? I know we're in a bad run of form.
Yeah.
I understand that. But it will level out. We are in a moment,
Fucking
right?
hope so.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
so
Jesus
do I.
Christ.
I do think we're in a moment right now where if you look at things, and I know this is a transfer episode, but we just got to speak about this quickly. If we weren't creating opportunities, I'd be worried, right? If we were only creating 4 or 5 opportunities to score a match, I'd be thinking, yeah, okay, then I'm maybe less worried than if we're not creating anything at all, but I'm still worried, right?
Yeah.
When you're in the matches that you're losing, in the matches that you're drawing, creating 20-odd opportunities a match, I do believe that But just quickly, as you guys know, we do a lot of research for these videos, and Squawka has been invaluable when it comes to that research. And they've actually just dropped an article planning out what Chelsea's starting lineup could look like after this transfer window. Obviously, after a really good start to our Premier League campaign, Champions League spots look like they could be slipping out of our grasp a little bit, and Enzo Maresca's squad has a few holes that I feel need filling. So, for example, do we need someone to replace Nicholas Jackson, and who would be the best player to fill his boots? What about the centre-back position? Do we need to sign another defender to fill that hole? And what about Robert Sanchez and his weekly calamities? Do we need someone to replace him? And if so, who would be the best keeper to take over? Well, Squawka have looked through all of those key areas, and in doing so have picked out so many potential options that could fit Maresca's dream scenario for a Chelsea lineup after the January transfer window. So hit the link in the description to check out the article where you can see exactly who Squawka think could fit the bill at Chelsea Football Club. The law of averages would suggest that soon we're going to hit a team for 5 goals and confidence is going to come back and people are going to get their finishing boots on and whatnot. So bearing in mind, I do think that we'll regain form. We're obviously going to finish higher in the league than Crystal Palace this season. And I do think that Trevor Chalobah will get just as many minutes, to be honest, for Chelsea this season as he would have done for Crystal Palace. I don't think that Trevor Chalobah comes in and plays as part of a B team. And I don't want to give too much away, but mate, if Reece can stay fit, and I know there'll be people that say, well, what about Malo Gusto? What's he done to deserve? If Reece can stay fit, I would be so confident with a backline that consists of Reece James, Trevor Chalobah, Levi Colwill, and Mark Cucurella at the back. And do you know what, mate? Do you know what? It's mental. And I know we're pretty speak about him because he's on the way out. He's never coming back. But imagine it was Ben Chilwell. It'd be like going back in the time machine.
It would be.
Reece James, Trevor Chalobah. All right, Levi Colwill would have been about 15
but he was there,
at the time.
wasn't
But
he?
he was there.
He was probably training with
He was
the team,
there training with them, and then Chill Dog. That'd be mad. But either way, let's move on from it. But thank the Lord that Trevor Chalobah
I'm
is
so happy
back.
for him. Can I just, before we go on from this story, can we bring this back to the board very quickly? Because I think it would be remiss if we didn't talk about this. We have to talk about the Chelsea transfer infrastructure and how they're going about this whole sort of player trading model. They're trying to offload all of the academy players. And yet, what we're seeing right now is our top centre-back target is an ex-academy player. We're looking at all of these other players, like, for example, Callum Hudson-Odoi playing incredibly well for Nottingham Forest, right? You could go on and on. In fact, Conor Gallagher hasn't been playing that well for Atletico Madrid recently. Hasn't been involved in the goals or the assists. But still, could we have done with a Conor Gallagher in our team this season?
Everyone can do it with Conor Gallagher.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, yes, the trading model seems to have worked in certain elements of this season, but also the heart of the team, the academy boys, they are still good enough to get into this Chelsea team. And the fact that we're reverting back to playing those academy boys says everything you need to know about this trading model, about this sort of data recruitment approach, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Can I give you the good news?
Go on then.
They're going to keep on coming, my friends. They are going to keep on coming because one day we're going to be talking about Tyreek George in the same vein that we're talking about Callum Hudson-Odoi. One day we're going to be talking about Raksaki in the same way. Joshua Champong in the same way that we're talking about Mark
Even Kane
Gahey.
Dyer looks fucking really good. I've seen some clips of him
So the
recently.
future's bright, mate. The future's bright. Now, is the future bright for a certain Christopher Nkunku, because the news this week has sort of broke that he's looking for a move away from Stamford Bridge. I think he's very much now fallen out of favour and looks like he will leave this month. I know you said it was very uncertain, but I've just got to look at the in-game substitutions that I'm seeing now as well, in terms of like João Felix and Pedro Neto were called on off the bench way too late, in my opinion, in the last game. However, Nkunku stayed on the bench. Now, normally, Nkunku, attack-wise, was the first to be called off the bench for Enzo Maresca, and I think that maybe Enzo Maresca senses that, okay, if there can be a permanent deal where Nkunku moves on, and I don't know what we get, 40, 45 million, something like
80
that.
probably.
Yeah. But if there can be some sort of deal where he moves on, then that might be something that happened. Now, why don't you tell me about the young kid who everyone's speaking about a lot now, who could be involved in this deal?
Matthias Tell, yeah. So ultimately, he's a teenager playing for Bayern.
Yeah.
Incredibly highly rated. They call him, I think the way that I would liken it is perhaps a Rashford-esque player. And what I mean by that is not the quality of Marcus Rashford. Before we don't type the comment out. I'm not saying he's Marcus Rashford. I'm saying he's playing in that way. So he's like a left winger, but could maybe deputise as a number 9, but you probably wouldn't want to play him there that often, if you're being honest with him. He's a very, very exciting player. He played a lot more last season than he did, and then he has done this season. I think last season it was like 16 starts or something.
3 starts this season out of 26 games available.
He's fallen down the pecking order.
Last season, right, he actually only started 9 games.
Okay, there you go. 16 involvements in
all competitions. 16 goal involvements.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That is massive.
It's pretty good.
He's playing for the best team in Germany, isn't he?
There you go.
He's a very, very good player. I think the problem that I'm hearing about this is, what is his desire to leave Bayern? We keep presuming, he's ready to go. But everything I've heard so far is that he's very happy to stay at Bayern.
Oh, well, I'm hearing different.
Oh, what are you hearing?
I'm hearing he has reservations about a move to Chelsea because he wants a move that guarantees him game time. However, I just think, like, in modern day football, no move guarantees you game time. Like, I'm not being funny, yeah? I don't know why it's come into my head, probably because we were talking about Trevor Chalobah. But, like, Eddie Nketiah probably thought when he dropped down, and I don't mean to be offensive here, but it's a clear drop from Arsenal to Crystal Palace, that he'd be guaranteed game time.
Was he at Chelsea Academy, Eddie Nketiah?
God knows, can't remember. Are you not thinking of Amari Hutchinson?
No, I randomly think that Eddie might have come through.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm chatting shit.
But what I'm trying to say here, is when he dropped from Arsenal to Crystal Palace,
he starting every week.
He thought he'd guaranteed game time.
Yeah.
Didn't transpire. Didn't work out that way,
well,
right?
To be fair to
It hasn't so far.
Yeah.
There's so many other examples that I can use of players that believe that there will be guaranteed game time. I think that's a myth in modern day football, and I think you kind of back yourself. Now, here's the one thing that people are saying is, obviously, sort of can play left wing, likes it as a second striker. Hold on, are we not just signing a player potentially as, or who is similar to Nkunku, can play positionally the same as them, and are we not just replacing one player with a bit of a like for like,
and younger and less experienced,
right?
Less reputation.
So the first thing I would say to that is, if he comes in and wants to be here, that's one up on Nkunku already. Nkunku don't want to be here, and it sounds harsh to say, but again, I don't think it's harsh because we're both all right with that.
Yeah.
Like,
the other side of the coin is, does Nkunku leaving allow more playing time for a player like João Felix? Maybe he gets a sort of run of form, and maybe he sort of comes into the team and plays really well.
Do we need to sign someone if Nkunku leaves?
We need a left winger because of the man who we must not be named under drugs embargo.
Well, funny enough, that's one of the questions that's come in, so you are going to have to speak about him. But can I just say, we don't need a left winger, mate. We don't need a left winger. Can I just tell you, João Felix can play.
He's not a winger.
Okay.
He's not a winger.
João Felix can play off the left wing.
He can play there, but he's not a winger. But fair enough. Include that in your numbers.
Okay. Pedro Neto has started just as many games in his career for both club and country on the left wing as he has on the right wing, right?
Do you not want him on the right
Now, I prefer him on the right wing.
I was going to say.
And because we've played him more consistently on the right wing, however, actually, he's quite often changed over in matches when the sub has been made. Because we've played him more consistently on the right wing, maybe the stats would represent that he's played more on the right-hand side. However, when he came to Chelsea, he had played more on the left-hand side. I believe that Jadon Sancho is an out-and-out left winger. And then I also believe you've got Tyreek George there. So for me, personally, mate, do I think that we need to sign a left winger? No. If we were to go and get 35, 40 mil for Nkunku, would I rather invest that in, let's say, for example, in this window, an out-and-out striker, or as the domino effect always happens, as it does late on in windows when clubs sign and other players become surplus to requirements and whatnot, a centre-back, then I'd probably rather do that. Yeah. So this Tell deal, right?
You tell him.
Listen, I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be against it.
You tell him, Joe.
But you never can tell. Do you know what I mean?
You can't.
That's all I'm saying.
Keep going. I would rather go for Jamie Gittins as well at Dortmund. You know I keep talking about this guy.
You are high on Jamie Gittins.
I think he looks fucking good.
Does everyone? Does every young player that plays for Dortmund
he's techie, but do you know what though?
Is he better than Adeyemi?
Yes.
Yeah?
For me, I think actually Adeyemi's better than him, but I think Jamie Gittins has got more potential.
Okay.
The reason why I like it as well, he's English. So there's a whole English factor there. You get another homegrown player. Super young kid, looks super exciting, can beat players, fast, mobile, come from that Dortmund academy. You know the training is going to be, not academy, but you know from the young system at Dortmund, you know he's going to be good. For me, it's almost like the sort of, when you sign players from Brighton, you know they're going to be at a certain level because they've recruited really well. They've got a very good data department. And Dortmund is the same. The reason why I think that could still happen, and actually this is the domino effect of the Nkunku deal as well. If Nkunku goes to Bayern in January, then tell the deal for Tell's on the table. This is what we do. We trade. This is what we did with Gallagher at Atletico. We trade players. And actually that's part of the modern game now. But the other way around, if Vega goes to Dortmund, then maybe there's a deal for this guy to be made. And maybe it's in the summer.
Part of me, and I think some of the comments would agree with me, maybe some won't. Part of me just finds it weird that we're sitting here having a left winger debate. It's like you rocking up here, and you're half of your legs hanging off. And me going to you, oh my God, you've got a massive whitehead on your face.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know exactly what you mean.
It's like there are areas in the team that need addressing.
Right, rank them then.
Right?
So rank the player, the positions of the team that we need to recruit in January.
Okay.
Go.
Firstly, there is a huge crack, right, in our defence. However,
you got Big Trev now.
We have plastered over that crack. Okay,
you're calling your favourite player a plaster.
Well, by your logic, if you're going to sell him at the end of the season, then
but this is your favourite player. I never said he's my favourite player.
If we're not going to sell him at the end of the season, then we've cemented over that crack. But for the time being, we've plastered over that crack, right? And I think that the presence of Trevor Chalobah in our team will directly lead to us accumulating more points this season than if he wasn't in our squad. So there you go. So what I'm saying is, for this season, if he does leave at the end of the season, it's a plaster. If not, we've cemented over that crack for the time being. But I'd still probably say we need to bring in a centre-back. Because if I'm looking at best in class, I'm looking at the likes of Axel Disasi and thinking, no, you're probably never going to make the grade as to what Chelsea need to not only solidify ourselves as like a Champions League team, but to push on and challenge for titles, which Enzo Maresca himself said he thinks we can over the next few seasons. So that there's one area of concern. Another area of concern, again, is an area that I just think needs plastering over in terms of the midfield. Why do I think it needs plastering over? Because at the end of this season, we have the likes of Andre Santos coming back in, right? And then also, we've got to remember that other area you're on about where we've got a little bit of concern. We've got a Brazilian wonder kid coming in who might not necessarily be a left winger, but let's be honest, when he comes in, he'll be trialled across that front line. Okay, in terms of left wing, centre attacking mid, right wing, he'll be trialled across there. So I think that we're without our answers just yet. Now, we've been told already, so this is pie in the sky because I've literally heard Unai Emery say it last night. We've been told that he sees John Duran at Aston Villa for a decade or so.
He does.
If there was one thing that I would say, and again, when you speak about left winger, if there was one thing that I would say is that I absolutely love Nicholas Jackson. And things don't change. Like, yes, he missed a couple of sitters the other night. He also hit the post of a screamer from long range, you know what I mean? And is his improvement this season, in my opinion, very, very clear and obvious to see? Yeah, I do think it is. Is he always going to come under flack when Chelsea have a bad run? Yes, because, you know, in football, your number 9 is always going to be the one that is called out if you're not winning games, right? But at the same time, backup options, is Mark Yu ready for the here and now? I'm not too sure. Now, if we were to buy a John Duran, say, for example, or is it Gyökeres, who everyone's always on about, and everyone, like, you know...
We're not getting him.
We're not getting him. And if we were to sign one of them, then the good thing, I think, is that Nicholas Jackson... There you go, straight away, is that left winger you're on about. In terms of Jadon, in terms of he doesn't start ahead as Jadon Sancho, but when you're talking about this Tell, Tell, sort of left winger, but can play as a striker / second striker. Sounds a bit like Nicholas Jackson to me. And I've seen Nicholas Jackson play left wing, and I've seen him play fantastic from the left wing. And when I look at his best attributes, Nicholas Jackson's best attributes. Do those best attributes, in your opinion, tell me if I'm wrong, this isn't a loaded question, do they align so much more with a striker, a number 9, than they do with a left winger?
I think it's a hard one.
Because why you ever think about this?
Yeah.
For me, best attributes for Nicholas Jackson: hold-up play, ball retention, being able to beat a man, being able to win balls that you wouldn't have necessarily thought he'd have got, and being able to get out of tight spaces and stuff like that. I think that those areas excel his game more, potentially, than his finishing, although he's improving on that. So, and link-up play with the boys around him, they must love playing with him because he is great with that link-up play. Could he work off the left wing? We only saw it once last season in a game against Luton where I think he looked pretty good and we started Brower down the middle, or Wade, remember that game?
Yeah, I do.
But at the end of the day,
if we're chasing a game, I think that works incredibly well, actually.
To move him out to the left wing and to bring a number 9 on.
And like I said, I don't think that I've never really heard anyone else talking about this, that he can move over to that left-hand side and be very potent. Like, if you're talking about a goal-scoring winger, I couldn't think of many other options in the Premier League from a left-hand side position that would be better than Nicholas Jackson coming in and shooting from that position. I think it would work incredibly well. But then again, he's got to get in the team over someone like Jadon Sancho. So yeah. I agree with you. I think now if we've got Trev back, the real key position to strengthen is that striker position, isn't it? I really do. So, mate, there are a lot of options there. And there are a wide range of options in terms of John Duran, I think, is ready to start right now. I think he could play for us. But there are also some other options like I still have a feeling that like the Evan Ferguson thing will rumble on. I think he'll end up going to a big club. And I could see that. I could see that being Chelsea.
I'm not on it.
I'm not on it at all, but as in I could see us going in for sort of like someone that could grow and progress. Like, I don't think we're going to be going... I'm going to be completely honest now. I don't think we're going to go in for like a number 9 that's ready to go immediately. And
we're not going to go in for Osman. We're not going to go in...
Not in January.
I can never say his name. Gyökeres. We're not going to go in for someone like that, is what you're saying. You think we're going to go in for someone who has the potential to go on.
But as in, like, even just like a level below that, like, for example, Arsenal are about to sign Benjamin Šeško. We talked about that guy. Well, apparently they're going to sign him. They're in for him, right? We kept talking about that guy being that ready-made replacement, but a lot of people were saying he wasn't ready to start.
Why would they need Šeško? They've got Havertz.
I know. I don't know why they do. Do you know what? He bags a lot of goals in.
Yeah. Oh,
Kai
mate,
Havertz.
it's absolutely ridiculous.
And do you know what? Every time we've
I haven't
always
heard
said
that
to the Arsenal
chant
fans,
in ages.
I haven't heard it. Do you know what? Can you sing it to me? Because I can't remember what it is because it's been so long.
Down the drain, Kai Havertz scores again.
But he doesn't score though. That's the problem. He
No.
doesn't actually score.
No.
The one the other day where it bounces off his shoulder was one of my favourite moments of all time.
Yeah. Better than a Champions League winner.
It was actually.
Are they actually getting Šeško?
There's strong rumours that they are very much in for him in January. I don't know why he would move in January, bearing in mind he just said he wanted to stay for the entire season at the start.
Comment section, let me know this second, right now. Evan Ferguson or Liam Delap?
That is a fantastic question.
And can I tell you why it's Liam Delap? What academy?
So wait a second, have you just led the question?
What academy?
Guys, don't give your unbiased answers. Don't let him convince you.
What academy did Romeo Lavia come through?
Manchester City.
Okay. What academy did... Who's another decent player in our team? Jadon Sancho come through?
Joe Shields.
Joe Shields Academy. What academy did he come through, mate?
Manchester City.
What? I'm trying to think.
Tosin.
Who's Tosin? Yeah, Manchester City. Who's quite decent in Chelsea's team? He got the ability to just sort of sit a goalkeeper on his arse and then pass it into the back of the
there's
net.
not many other players that could do that. It must only be really Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer. What academy did he come through?
I've heard that was also Pep Guardiola's Manchester City.
Do you know what academy Evan Ferguson came through?
No.
Don't know, don't care. Liam Delap came through Manchester City's one. I want to sign him.
I think he came through the Brighton Academy. He must have.
Oh, Ferguson.
Yeah.
Liam Delap did come through City's Academy, though, didn't he?
He did, well done.
Yeah.
That would have been really bad if you'd made that entire point and then he didn't actually come through their academy.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
That would have been really bad. He actually came through the Academy of Hard Knocks.
Yep.
Do you know why?
It's a hard knock life for us.
No, he came through the Academy of Hard Knocks because his father played for Stoke.
Oh,
He's
really?
probably involved in the Stoke team.
He's Rory Delap's son, isn't he?
Have you only just clocked that?
No, I did know that. I don't know.
He's got a very good throw, Liam.
Has Liam got a good throw? Because obviously,
genetically,
Rory Delap's throw was something of beauty.
Yeah.
Like,
do you want to know my deep dark truth? I think that was probably my best ability in the football pitch as well.
Really?
A long throw.
Really?
I could fucking throw
mate,
it.
Can I just tell you, right, who would absolutely, what team on free in the Premier League this season would fucking love to have Rory Delap?
Look at the camera and say it. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Arsenal. They'd love Rory Delap, wouldn't
Can you
they?
imagine that set piece coach? He's called Jova. I think Jacob the other day on the kickoff was kept on going about Jova, and I was like, who the fuck is he even talking about? And then I pieced it together. It was the set piece coach. Can you imagine him on the sideline? He's got his fucking dick out. He's seeing this Liam Delap throw come in. And he's like, oh, that gets me so excited.
That gets me horny.
Oh, when Kai Havertz gets that shoulder into the box. Oh, it gets me going.
Misses.
Fuck off, Jova, you
right,
little prick.
last little bit we're going to do. We're just going to quickly rattle through a few of the... What the fuck is going on?
You've just literally... He's just lost it, guys.
I've lost it.
He's just completely lost
Fuck it, bin the podcast off. I'm not uploading it.
Right, you got some questions for me, have you?
What has been your favourite Chelsea moment since the new owners took over?
Trevor coming back.
Is it really?
I think, for me, it was Cole Palmer's winner against Manchester United. I've said this a few times in this podcast. I cried.
Yeah, I think for me it was... I don't know why, I didn't even win the game, but I loved the 4-4 draw. When brother goes down in the box, he's fouled by, I think it might have even been Kyle Walker, by the way.
Yeah.
When the decline wasn't as obvious as it is now, but you know.
Poor
and Cole Palmer scores and it makes it 4-4. I love that moment.
I love how it's all Cole Palmer related.
Yeah, Dortmund. We actually in that sort of Graham Potter season got through against.
I liked Graham Potter's suit on the first game, the Salzburg game in the Champions League. I thought.
Tell
that
you
was
what
my
else
favourite
was a good moment? Knocking Newcastle out of the cup. Do you remember on penalties?
Oh, who fucking scored that? Who got the equalising goal?
Can't remember, mate.
Yeah.
Can't remember, mate.
My favourite moment of his, if we're going to talk about the man who must not be named, in Mudryk, was the cross shot for Arsenal, where everyone said that it was a cross and it was obviously a shot.
Your favourite moment from him was that little touch that he did in a pre-season friendly that he dines out of. You know, when the ball comes over the top and he just does the little...
it's pure class.
Yeah.
Is he ever going to play for Chelsea again?
We get onto that.
Okay.
We'll get onto that. But you're wrong. Favourite moment since the takeover is obviously the infamous episode on the Joey Knight podcast of ranking the top six's Premier League midfields.
Why is that a good moment? Because we said they were really good and everyone laughed at us.
Because it was Josh Aveste's first.
Was that the first one?
That was your first ever appearance on the Joey Knight podcast.
Was that the first video?
First video, first time we ever met in person, and you came in and we ranked the top six. But it's like now when you look at top six, like we didn't even have Villa in there, and we had Spurs in there and whatnot. Newcastle, really one of them. So yeah, Matthew 1245. Did you find it embarrassing starting out the podcast? I love it though.
You embarrassed?
You
embarrassed of me?
No. I think what he means by that is
speaking on camera.
Is speaking on camera. Did you find it embarrassing putting yourself out there type thing? Yes, definitely. A little bit
you
at
did
first.
well to hide it.
Yeah, but do you know what? And this is gonna sound. I don't want this to come across in the wrong way, but I had very quick. What's the word? Validity, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you were reassured quite quickly.
I had very quick reassurance, whereas some people who I really rate, I look at and I'm like, yeah, it didn't happen for you as quickly as it did for me. Let's say, for example, perfect example here, Joey and Josh at the minute.
I was just about to mention it.
You guys, the hardcore, you're over there. You better be over there. It's linked in the description, by the way, and we're dropping bangers off there all the time. I think we're even dropping an episode tonight, aren't we, behind the scenes on Misfits and whatnot. But Joey and Josh, right? If, for example, that was my first venture into YouTube and I put the amount of work in and whatnot, and I was watching the episodes back and thinking, mate, like, these are the bollocks, but they just weren't doing the numbers as Joey and Josh, like, I openly say, isn't that I want it to be doing at this moment in time, then yeah, I think maybe not embarrassing, but a bit like, deflating. But with my stuff, it took off pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it took off pretty
long.
quickly. What about yourself? Because you are a less natural sort of to camera than myself, and I hope people don't think that.
No, but that's true.
I'm saying that in the wrong way.
Yeah,
Josh is fucking brilliant, and he's way more knowledgeable about football than me. But in terms of being the performing monkey, as I say, I find it easier than you do.
Yeah, I had to learn. I'm still learning now. I still have to. I think it's a skill in which even the embarrassment factor, I think, is a skill you have to learn. I think it's one of those things where everyone gets embarrassed the first time they do it, much like your love life.
Sex.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So every time you do a podcast, you have to watch it back, learn from it, see what you didn't like and what you could get better at. And I absolutely did that. Unfortunately, like you say, you had a more natural talent of it, and I think I have to learn how to do it. And that's what I had to do when I first did it. But I didn't feel embarrassed, really. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done it. It was more like, oh, this was a bit shit. I wish I'd done this a bit better. Do you see what I mean? It was more of a learning thing. But also, to anyone that is thinking about doing it for the first time, fuck the embarrassment. Embarrassment is the thing that's holding you back. Like, if Joey had been embarrassed the first time he turned on a camera and didn't upload that video, your life could have been completely different. So fuck the embarrassment. There are so many people. If you're worried about what your friends and family are going to think of you when you upload that first video, you're stopping your potential. And never, ever, ever do that. You've always got to put yourself out there and go a bit further than you think you can. And good things happen.
Great question from Matthew Miller. What is the best show on Dave?
Matt Miller.
Matt Miller.
Great name, Matt Miller, by the way. I like
What's the best show on Dave?
He sounds like an American advertising executive.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's what it says.
You heard of Matt Miller? He's a great guy.
Matt
He
Miller,
looks
man.
after the Miller Lite account. He's a really tough dude. What was the question?
what is the best show on Dave?
Top Gear.
Top Gear.
I love Top Gear so much.
Mate.
I used to rewatch all of the reruns of that on Dave.
No way.
Don't say Only Fools and Horses. That's on Gold.
Dave still shows Men Behaving Badly, doesn't it?
I haven't watched Dave. Can I be honest with you, mate? I haven't watched Dave since I had like Freeview TV at home.
I got a mate that boxed on Dave.
Was it you?
No. David A.
Oh, sorry.
Did you see David A?
Sorry.
Did you see David A put me up on his story the other day?
I'm sorry. Obviously, your best mate, David A.
Did you see put me up on his story the other day?
I thought I'm going to let Joe Cole know that he's been replaced as your best mate.
No, don't, because that would upset him. That would seriously upset Joe
If you were going to have a big party
Mm.
and you sent your mate David Hay a text, do you think he would turn up?
No, because he's always out of the country, yeah. He's always out of the country. So no. But
With Joe Cole?
probably not either. But I think I've got more chance of getting David A along than Joe Cole.
Oh.
If I text David A and just said, Dave, there's going to be loads of salts there.
Is he allowed to do that these days?
He's David A, mate. He does whatever he wants. The man does whatever he wants.
That moment where I saw you meet him, your eyes light up. You could tell you were a happy man.
Unreal.
Would meeting your idol in Tommy Fury, in Tyson Fury, be bigger deal than meeting David Hay?
I don't know, because the interaction with David A was so good and it was so cool. And then I've had like a couple of messages from him since, like literally, like just I told you this, but they wouldn't know this. But like for no reason, I hadn't messaged him. He wasn't like replying to saying I'd messaged. Just messaged me on Christmas Day.
Did he?
Did I not told you this?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he just sent me a random message on Christmas Day and said, like, oh, mate, like, just watch that video again, like, really good points, blah, blah, blah. Happy Christmas.
He's such a geezer. He was so nice as well.
Like, you know he's done that because he knows, even though not saying I played it cool or whatever, but, like, he knows that he could tell, like, yeah, this bloke's a super fan
I'll tell you what, as well, I couldn't believe with him is you meet celebrities and sometimes they are dicks and they've got an ego. He just came in and all of the boys had said certain things about him in his past and bantered him and whatever, and he just came in.
Even in my video, that I'm on about, that he ended up saying he watched. I said in my video that he would lose to Usyk, and I think that no, like a Prime Hay.
Oh, wow.
I said that a Prime Usyk beats a Prime Hay. Yeah. I said that the Fury one's 50-50, and I said that I think Hrgovic, even though he just got beat by Dubois, would give David A lot of problems. Blah blah blah. So he had watched the full thing, and he said, "Yeah, you're very knowledgeable on boxing." Blah blah. So,
and then he said at the end of it, "You absolute prick."
Yeah, but then when you draw it back to Tyson Fury, like I feel like I don't know, like I don't know, like kind of feel like, because Tyson Fury's one of my heroes as well, but at the same time I'm guilty by association, aren't I? Like I think it'd be one of them things where, like, don't meet your idols, because I don't think Fury would like me. I think he would just know. Yeah, I think
you're his biggest fan.
I know, and I'm always the one sticking up for him and backing him and whatever, but I don't know. I think because of the pain game and whatnot, I think he just wouldn't like me.
Very quickly, because I know you've done a whole video on this, but just for these guys, is he retired or not?
Fury, no.
There you
go. He'll fight Anthony Joshua.
Thanks very much. I just needed you to confirm that.
Ollie Strong, big up Ollie Strong. He was in my class at school, legend.
Was he?
Yeah. Is Lenny Pidgley still out on loan, and why haven't we recalled him?
Yeah, exactly. He could do a job right now, Lenny Pidgley.
The Pidge dog follows me.
Would he get in the team right now?
Who, Lenny Pidgley?
Yeah. Over Sanchez, probably would.
Yeah, he probably would. He was a good shot.
Can I just say, though, if he did come back, he would have to wear that white kit that he lifted the trophy in, because that was iconic.
And he would still have to have the mohawk with the highlights in it. Shows
Big up to you, Lenny. We love you so much. Come on the podcast soon. We'd absolutely love that.
Right, last one, because I said I was going to do it. And question specifically for Josh: what do you think will happen to your babe Mudryk in the future?
That was very aggressive, wasn't it? Your baby boy Mudryk.
What do you think will happen, mate?
I do now think that he will be banned for a considerable amount of time.
Do you think he ever plays for Chelsea again?
I think that if it's over 2 years, which it probably will be if he's caught and banned, then I think they will rip up the contract.
I don't know. Like, I'm shit with stuff like that. Can they?
If it's more than 2 years, yes.
Really?
They can rip up the contract, yeah.
What about if it is 2 years?
2 or more years, then yeah.
2 or more.
So yeah, that would, if it's 2 years, yes.
Yeah.
Is the answer to your question. So if it is more, they'll rip up the contract. He'll serve the ban, and I reckon he'll have a very successful career, probably in the Bundesliga. I would guess. That'd be my shout.
He'd be good at Dortmund. He'd be good at Salzburg.
Yeah, I think he might end up at somewhere like a Leverkusen or a Leipzig.
Leipzig. Yeah. Could happen. Right.
Can I just say I don't think he will ever play for Chelsea again now.
No. So has he been a flop?
No, because of that goal against Newcastle.
What, in the cup?
Yeah.
That we didn't go on to win?
Yeah, but that wasn't his fault, was it?
Yeah. Oh, or are you on about the pre-season goal against... Oh, no, that was against Brighton, wasn't it?
The pre-season goal was pretty good, though.
So... Just quickly,
the Arsenal goal,
the goal in the cup against Newcastle,
great goal.
The goal in the draw against Arsenal that he may or may not have
didn't even mean it.
Yeah. And the goal,
the step over on his debut against Liverpool was really good.
Yeah,
where Conor Gallagher nearly nicked the ball off him, and he, should have shot.
Yeah.
That was
and
great,
obviously the screamer in the Conference League this season. For that, he was worth the 78
Chelsea legends
million.
Chelsea legends category. Like if we're ranking legends, I would say he would be above Joe Cole.
Okay.
Of Chelsea,
I would say you need to see a doctor. Right, listen.
The post has been retired.
You said you were going to cheer me up today, and you have cheered me up. No, I feel in a better mood now.
We need to do one last thing. If they haven't liked the video, please do. Because he needs some cheering up. And say cheer up Joey in the comments.
Yeah, depressed all the time in a minute. I don't know what is wrong with me. But I am very happy now. Should we do a Chelsea Wolves preview?
I'd love to.
Let's do a Chelsea Wolves preview. Make sure that you are locked in for that one. But also, please, people, do me a massive favour more than anything, right? Joey and Josh is linked in the description. The hardcore that are still watching right now are already subscribed. But for those 1 or 2 of you that aren't already and you want to see more of me and the big dog.
Road to 4K. We're nearly at 4K subs right now. So come on, you can get us to 4K. You could be the 4,000 sub and be
quicker than I got to 4K, to be fair.
Yeah, we could be in history as the 4,000 subscriber on Joe and Josh.
And one more thing. Can you get onto YouTube and get my fucking plaque? I'm like 14,000 over.
It takes a while to come through. You grew too fast for YouTube. Where are you going to put the plaque?
Don't know really. Probably
you should put it in your background at home.
Backdrop, yeah.
I want it framed. I want it not. It should be nicely presented, and it should be a big deal.
Plaque's taking a while, man.
We should sign it.
I feel like my pubes came through quicker than these plaques.
Well, do you know what? Everyone, get onto YouTube and tweet them out and say that Joey needs a plaque.
Joey needs a plaque.
Make it a gold one.
See you in the next one.